natural technology. And blaze kills 59 in North Macedonia nightclub. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris has clarified that there is no religious persecution in any part of Nigeria, as been speculated in some quarters. The minister was reacting to reports that some Nigerians in the United States are suggesting a case of persecution of a particular religious group in parts of the country. The Information Minister also explained that a special committee, as indicated by President Bola Tinubu recently, would address all of these issues when constituted.
I'm not aware, as we speak, that a particular religion or a particular ethnic group is being targeted for elimination or for violence by the other. I think that that mischaracterization is very worrisome, and government feels that there is the need for us to come together, Muslims, Christians, all the leaders to come together to address this permanently. But let me put it out there that indeed Mr. President has been working to ensure that there is security for everyone. Of course, we are not yet there. It's not yet El Dorado. It's not as if this has been totally, the insecurity situation in the country has been totally taken care of. But we know that with the kind of effort we are making in the last 2 years, it has drastically reduced. Nigeria is a country of God, where we all believe in God, Christians, Muslims. We cannot allow one particular religion to suffer as a result of the belief of the other one. Your freedom, everybody is granted his freedom, but of course your freedom will end where the other person's own begin. This is the message of Mr. President. The committee will be put in place. It's still work in progress. Everyone will participate to ensure that we have a peaceful Nigeria. But we want to say that there is nothing like religious persecution in this country. It is non-existent. We don't want it to exist in anybody's mind.
More of this will come up on our weekly program, Executive Recap, highlighting activities within the presidency. The program airs Sundays at 10:30 p.m. on the network service. Now, the Trump administration is contemplating implementing travel restrictions for citizens from several dozen countries as part of a new ban. A memo identifies 41 countries categorized into 3 distinct groups that would be impacted. The first group consists of 10 countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Cuba, and North Korea, which would face complete suspension of visas. In the second group, 5 countries, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, and South Sudan, would experience partial visa suspensions affecting tourist and student visas, as well as certain immigrant visas, although some exceptions would apply. On January 20th, Trump signed an executive order mandating enhanced security vetting for foreigners seeking entry into the U.S. to identify potential national security threats. The European Union has donated 46 million euros to support Nigeria's social protection system. The donation was made at the launch of the Sustainable Social Protection System in Nigeria program, designed to strengthen the National Social Protection Register and enhance the country's ability to respond to shocks. The program, conceived by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the European Union, will be implemented in 4 pilot states, namely Abia, Benue, Oyo, and Sokoto. It will run for 3 years and focus on improving the National Social Protection System's responsiveness to shocks at both federal and state levels. UNICEF, in collaboration with the International Labour Organization, will implement the program through the Ministries of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, as well as Labour and Employment. In the meantime, the African Development Bank, KFDB, and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, have reaffirmed their commitment to transforming Africa's agricultural landscape. This comes after the signing of a €5 million grants agreements in Abuja to support the continuation of Phase 2 of the Technologies for African Agricultural Transformation Program. Musa Baba Aliu has details.
This marked the launch of the second phase of the Technologies for African Agricultural Transformation TAT program, overseen by the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. Both organizations will provide a grant of €5 million to enhance agricultural technologies, increase food production, and foster economic growth on the continent.
This additional financing of the TAT program that we are signing today is building on phase 1, which the African Development Bank funded with $40 million, and phase 2 with $27 million to scale up agricultural innovations, strengthen food security, and enhance climate resilience across the continent.
TAT Phase 2 aims to accelerate the delivery of improved crop varieties, mechanization, digital advisory services, and sustainable farming practices to smallholder farmers. The TAT program is assisting smallholder farmers in boosting their productivity and income while reducing Africa's dependence on food imports.
Through TAT, we have already witnessed the impact science-driven solutions in enhancing productivity, improving livelihoods, and strengthening food systems.
Since its inception, the TAT program has made significant strides in promoting the adoption of high-yielding and climate-resilient crop varieties, along with improved agronomic practices benefiting millions of smallholder farmers across Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Niger Republic has turned to Nigeria for help after being hit by a fuel shortage. The West African country reached out to Nigeria despite months of diplomatic tensions and hostile rhetoric. A delegation of senior officers of the military junta traveled down to Abuja to meet federal government representatives. At the end of the deliberation, 300 trucks of petrol were reportedly approved for delivery to the country. A senior government official aware of the development said Nigeria approved the deal with the hope of using it as a strategic bargaining tool in ongoing negotiations with Niger. According to the official, the delegation explained that Niger had been reliant on fuel from a Chinese refinery. However, due to issues with the supplier, the refinery was shut down, leaving the country with limited options. In Koni, the border town between Nigeria and Niger, a litre goes for 1,200 CFA, which is about 2,500 naira. At Agadez, the same litre of fuel is 3,000 CFA, equivalent to 7,500 naira per litre, while in Arilits, a local government under Agadez, which is the border town between Niger and Algeria, it is 3,500 CFA, which is about 8,750 naira when converted to naira. Our country. Now a fire has torn through a nightclub in North Macedonia early Sunday, killing 59 people, apparently caused by onstage fireworks. From Pani reports that authorities have issued warrants of arrest on 4 persons in connection with the incident.
Your minister, Pan Stoskovsky, said the 155 injured are hospitalized across the country, with 18 of them in critical condition. Some of the serious cases will be taken to the European countries for treatment. The blaze started in the club Poles in the eastern town of Kokani around 3 a.m. local time, as the place was packed with more than 1,000 mostly young fans attending a concert by a popular hip-hop duo called DNK. One young woman who was at the concert told local media outside the hospital in the capital that initially they did not believe there was a fire. Then there was huge panic in the crowd and a stampede to get out. The fire was probably caused by the use of pyrotechnic devices used for light effects at the concert, says the Interior Minister, who visited the scene with Prime Minister Ristijan Mikoski. The Interior Ministry announced that arrest warrants had been issued to 4 persons in relation to the tragedy and a criminal investigation opened. Toskovsky said, according to the information they have, there are 59 persons deceased, of which 35 have been identified. Out of those identified, 31 persons are from Kokani and 4 from Steep. Preparations are on to transport those seriously injured in the fire to Kokani to top hospitals in several European countries, the head of North Macedonia's crisis center said. Head of the Kokani hospital told the media that the patients being treated at the hospital were aged between 14 and 25. Meanwhile, Pope Francis sent prayers to the victims and survivors, wishing the families of the dead, mostly young people, the expression of deep condolence, signifying spiritual closeness to the wounded. The Vatican said in a message addressed to the Bishop of Skopje. Frama Pani, NTA News.
Pope Francis acknowledged on Sunday being fragile and facing a period of trial. He thanked well-wishers for prayers in a message from hospital, where he has been receiving treatments for pneumonia.
The 88-year-old Pope, hospitalized since February 14, sent a particularly personal message to the faithful published by the Vatican as he once again missed delivering the traditional Angelus prayer in person. The Pope wrote, and I quote, "I am sharing these thoughts with you while I am facing a period of trial, and I join with so many brothers and sisters who are sick, fragile at this time like me." End of quote. Our bodies are weak, but even like this, nothing can prevent us from loving, praying, giving ourselves, being there for each other in faith, shining signs of hope, he added. Sunday was the 5th time the Pope's condition had prevented him from personally giving the Angelus prayer, which he usually delivers to the crowd gathered in St. Peter's Square after Mass. Last week, the Vatican signaled the Argentine pontiff was out of danger after a series of breathing crises earlier into his hospitalization, which had sparked fears for his life. On Saturday, the Vatican said Francis's condition continued to be stable and showing progress, as it has for the past week, but cautioned he still needed therapies to be administered within the hospital. Pope Francis is being cared for on the 10th floor of the hospital, home to a special papal suite, including the chapel. Frama Pani, NTA News.
Now, 11-year-old Amazing Grace Salami has emerged champion of the first ever Spelling Bee in Nigeria, hosted by the U.S. diplomatic mission in Lagos, with an all-expenses-paid trip to represent Nigeria at the upcoming competition in the United States. Acting U.S. Consul General says it is to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the competition in the U.S. Adeola Kamiakere reports.
M-L-A-N-G. We have a champion!
Nigeria's brightest young spellers demonstrating academic excellence at the prestigious competition, promoting literacy, linguistics prowess, and love of the English language, as history was made when Amazing Grace Salami became the first ever national champion of Spain.
Only by working together can we develop the peace and prosperity of Nigeria and the United States, and getting youth involved and active and is wanting to do better is one way to make that happen.
Convener of the Spelling Bee in Nigeria, Spain, Eugenia Tache Menson, said the children who were between the ages of 8 and 13, numbering over 200 from 15 schools across the country, were taken through rigorous and novel learning experience, navigating a preparatory phase.
The criteria is not discriminatory. The criteria is that you must have access to the internet because it's an online-based program, and you must have a number of teachers dedicated to teaching, to wanting to support the learning process for the children.
So the overall winner, the first and second runner-up, are also going to be trained in Nigerian culture and music.
A total of 64 children made it to the grand finale, going through 7 elimination phases to get the final winner of the maiden edition of the Spelling Bee in Nigeria.
It was too much preparation because I did not go to school the whole of this week. And so I was at home learning more words. I could not play at all.
There was a lot of sacrifice made on her part, on the family's part.
And I feel really proud of myself right now. Shout out to my grandpa. During summer holiday, he was drilling me so much. And it really paid off because I'm literally going to be on news.
She is just a very curious child. So I'm not surprised that she got this far.
The Spelling Bee Nigeria final coincides with the 100th anniversary of the script National Spelling Bee in the United States. Nigeria is the second country in Africa to participate in scripts. The Spin Nigeria champion gets an all-expense-paid trip. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
And President Bola Tinubu congratulates Dr. Fenel Sakwe on winning the Cyber Personality of the Year award at the 2025 Cybersecurity Awards in the UK. A message signed by Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, says Dr. Sakwe is the chairman of the Lagos State Cybersecurity Advisory Board and the first African to win the Cybersecurity Awards category. He was recognized for his exceptional leadership, advocacy and expertise in cybersecurity and data privacy, clinching the prize ahead of other finalists from the United States, the UAE, Qatar, the Netherlands and the UK. President Tinubu celebrates Dr. Sakwe's achievements, underscoring his immense contributions to cybersecurity and his efforts to evolve new horizons in the field. The President describes the 2025 Cybersecurity Personality of the Year as an exceptional Nigerian and a worthy representation of Nigeria's talented, innovative and pace-setting youths. The President wishes Dr. Sakwe more success in his endeavors. You're watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
You're welcome back. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has bagged the 2024 Woman of the Year award. The award was conferred on her by the independent newspapers in Lagos. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
The award, as the 2024 Woman of the Year is conferred on the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in recognition of her numerous impact on women and other key segments of the society, not only as the First Lady of Nigeria, but also as a former legislator and wife of a governor. Receiving the award, the First Lady, represented by wife of the Speaker, House of Representatives, Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, noted that the honor would spur her to do more for Nigerians.
The First Lady would like to dedicate this award to every Nigerian woman, youth, and children who contribute to the growth of our beloved nation.
Former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Olabode George, made the presentation on behalf of the organizers.
The awardees, may the Almighty God ensure that this award you are taking tonight will add more value so our nation, Nigeria, will get to that level that the Almighty God has promised us.
Also at the award, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde got the Man of the Year award, while former APC National Chairman Chief Visa Konde got the Lifetime Award alongside 27 other achievers. In Lagos, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Judicial Service Commission has confirmed the appointment of Kabir Akanbi as substantive Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Akanbi was appointed in acting capacity on the 13th of February 2025 following the retirement of the former Chief Registrar of the Court, Hadjo Sarki Bello. Prior to his appointment, Akanbi was the Deputy Chief Registrar in charge of the Election Petition Tribunal unit at the Court of Appeal headquarters in Abuja. He comes to this job with a wealth of experience in law and information and communication technology spanning 2 decades. Now, desperate bids by some drug traffickers to move illicit substances concealed in prayer beads, board games and female clothes to the United States, the Middle East and Europe have been thwarted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports on this and the advocacy on the war against drug abuse at the Premier Academy in Abuja.
The consignment include cocaine, tramadol, loud, molly, among others. At least 2 suspects behind some of the aborted missions at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, have already been arrested. Other shipment of 230 kilograms of cocaine concealed in prayer beads, soles of locally made shoes, and packs of board games heading to the Saudi Arabia, Poland, and United Arab Emirates were equally intercepted. In Abia State, NDLEA operatives raided Intiga community where a 34-year-old suspect, aka Young Money, was arrested with 274 grams of heroin, 141 grams of methamphetamine, 2.931 kilograms of cannabis sativa, 4 grams of cocaine, and more than 753,000 naira monetary exhibit. Meanwhile, the West African Action Network on Small Arms has taken the war against drug abuse advocacy to Premier Academy, Abuja, where students were urged to shun substance abuse and be worthy ambassadors of their family and community.
I learned a lot about the new kinds of drugs, different kinds of drugs, and how they can affect people, how to prevent it, and how to advise people that are drug addicts and how to take care of them.
Drug is a menace at the moment, worldwide. And in order for us to curb it, we have to start from our children, so that we have a peaceful society and a lawful society.
When there is no drugs in the society, there will be total elimination of gun violence, there will be total peace in the country, and there will be no issue of advocating against illegal proliferation of small arms and light weapons. And Nigeria can be better for it.
In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The story is trending in the sporting world. Let's join Oche Ngbede on Sports Updates.
Nigeria's para-badminton sensation Eniola Bolaji has again solidified her dominance in the game by winning a second medal in 2 weeks. This time, the Paralympics bronze medalist triumphed over Turkish Alimet Yadish 2-0 in 21-7, 21-10 in the women's final at the Spanish Para-Badminton International in Toledo, Spain.
My expectation now is to go to more tournaments to qualify for the World Championship, and this is going to involve more funding and support from the Commission and the Federation. And I want to thank them for being there for me always. And for the private sector too, they should please come and support me.
Recall that Eniola Bolaji won a gold medal also at the 2025 Spanish Para-Badminton International 2 in Victoria last week. Ahead of Nigerian hosting of the 2025 UFAC African Karate Championship scheduled for July 21st to 27th in Abuja, Vice President of the World Karate Federation, Bechir Sherif, has inspected facilities of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium venue for the championship. Led by the President, Nigerian Karate Federation, Silas Agara, and other board members, the team inspected the velodrome in Package A and other designated venues in Package B, with a view to ensure that the facilities are up to standard to stage the event.
The African Championship will be here in this stadium now. They arrange everything to be more clean and more, but I hope that it will be ready and before.
And I'm quite hopeful and I'm quite sure that with the leadership of the executive committee members of the Nigerian Karate Federation, we will live up to expectation of the African leadership and the world leadership. The world will see what Nigeria can showcase.
And finally, South African Football Association SAFA President Danny Jordan has congratulated Nigerian Flamingos on their impressive victory over South Africa in the Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. The Flamingos dominated a two-leg tie, securing a 5-1 aggregate win in the second qualifying round. Despite the setback, Jordan offered words of encouragement to the South African team, commending their dedication and looking ahead to the future. With Sports Update, Oche Ngbedi, NTA News.
And Sports Updates concludes the news on NTA International at this time. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Dennis Adigunloye.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment.